What's up, guys? It's a short card on Friday here. I'm going to have two NBA plays that I'll talk about. Don't really have that much else to break down here as far as the card goes. The one play that I had last night on the Nashville Predators. So, yeah, I continue to be on fire. If you discount last weekend, everything has been really good over the last month or so. Been kicking ass. Want to keep that going. Keep this stretch in the NBA going. Right, I think I'm 26-10 in the NBA now, or something like that. I want to keep that going. I don't know what 25-10 maybe. I forget what it is. Want to keep that going though, of course. And of course, yeah, Nashville, a nice kind of easy win last night. Even though the game kind of looked like it was statistically close, it wasn't really that close. Nashville just had a big lead all game. Nice easy win. Nice no sweat pretty much win there. Although I kind of started to sweat a little bit, even though Nashville was losing 1-0 out of the gate, but they tied it pretty quickly. Then they took the lead. I think they didn't allow another goal for the rest of the game, but there was a point where they were up 4-1 with still 8 minutes left in the game, and Tampa was already going empty net with more than 8 minutes left. I'm they're just crazy, dude. They're just insane. I was right about what the starting goalie matchup was going to be in that game, too. So it was Johansson, who was not really that good in net for Tampa, and he did not really do well last night. Nashville did indeed have Saros in net, their top goaltender that they have there, and he did do well. So that was that. The NFL game was total trash, but it was higher scoring than people thought it was. I almost said I was almost tempted to take the over in that one because these Thursday night games are so notoriously low scoring, and the total was so low in that game that it was just yeah, I don't know. I think these teams are probably going to score something here, and that is what happened. And somehow the Patriots wound up winning that game. I don't know what to think about that, man. Steelers, as I was saying, when they were 7-4, they were winning on smoke and mirrors, pretty much winning on bad mistakes by the opposing teams or whatever. And the Patriots were notorious for making mistakes this year, despite being a Bill Belichick team. They finally didn't make enough crucial mistakes this time to cost themselves the game. Which you'd think that in that matchup, because they've been making so many mistakes and that Pittsburgh has been capitalizing on so many of their opponents' mistakes, that might have factored into the game last night, but that was not the case. Let's look at tonight, man. We got college basketball. There's really nothing to even talk about here. None of these games are in big conferences. I don't really see any angles to play in any of these. I looked at these games briefly. It's just, yeah, no thank you. NHL, there are only 3 games. Again, there's really almost nothing to even talk about in those games. I don't even want to speculate as to what I think might happen in those games. Don't even want to form an opinion on these. So we're going to the NBA. In the NBA, one thing that I will mention, one thing that I noticed when I was going through the card, I'm not going to be playing this game, but I will point out the Portland Trailblazers are returning from a long road trip that took them into Utah, so into elevation, then took them out to the Midwest, then back. Took them into Utah later in the trip. Sorry, they faced Utah at home, then they went on the road trip, and then Utah was one of their opponents on the road trip towards the end of it as well. And then the road trip took them over to San Francisco, and now they're returning back home off of that long road trip where Portland, they actually played a little bit better on the road trip than they have been playing. They went 2-3 on the road trip. They played pretty much all the games on that road trip tough, even against Golden State and Milwaukee. They did not lose by that much in those games. Now they return home with only 1 day off, so it is one of those bad return home distraction spots. But their opponent is Dallas, and when you're 6-14 Portland, I don't know if you can really overlook anybody really. And Dallas is coming off beating the Jazz by 50, which is something I'm going to mention in a minute. That's just absolutely absurd. Winning by 50. So that puts Dallas in kind of a spot where they're going to be overvalued as well. And they're laying a ton of points on the road here. So I can't fade Portland, even though they're in their return home spot. I think Dallas is also in a go against spot after winning by 50, even though they're starting a road trip. They're a 2-game road trip. It's are they really going to put in a max effort against the Portland Trailblazers after they did what they just did? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, that's why I'm just going to totally stay off of that one. But that's just kind of it's kind of ridiculous. And like I said, Portland, when you have a better team coming to your house, you might not totally lose focus there in that return home. So that's the way I feel about that. And Dallas is sitting in an 8-point favorite, as I think I mentioned. I don't see the percentages on those either. But let's go to the actual plays. Play number one, which I think is the less strong of the two, but I still kind of like it because I noticed the market read on this, and there are some weird things. And I am fading an injured player theory situation here, but I still like this. I'm going to be on the Sacramento Kings -1.5 at Phoenix. I laid the 1.5 with the Kings. It looks like this line was going to open 4.5. I see on pregame it listed the opener as 4.5, although I'm not sure how many books actually brought it out at that because the Kevin Durant situation is what the factor is here. So Kevin Durant is actually out for this game, which is why the line has moved from where it would have been. It would have been the Suns, a 4.5-point favorite, I guess, up to the Kings now being a 2-point favorite. I got them at 1.5. That's factoring in the Kevin Durant injury. And maybe you could argue that, yeah, this is overreacting to the Kevin Durant injury. Maybe it is. So that does line up the Suns on an injured player theory situation. Yeah, but I think the situation here is strong enough against the Suns that I think you got to play it. And, of course, not having Kevin Durant is, of course, a negative, which is why the line has moved as much as it has. But even though I think it might be an overreaction, yeah, a bit. If it's still in that like pick the winner situation, I think I still do. I'm still doing it. I still like the Kings here, and I still like the market read here, where the market has 90% of the tickets on the Suns, but only 53% of the cash. So the Suns are still getting the public action. I don't know if the public are just idiots and they don't realize that Kevin Durant is out, or maybe I'm an idiot and there's something else going on that I don't know about, and maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I think Kevin Durant is out, which is why the Kings are favored on the road. But I think the public is going to look at this, and maybe even with Durant out, they might still be wanting to play the Suns here because they know who the Suns are. They think that the Suns are the better team, and I think they are. With Durant, the Suns are the better team, even though Sacramento is actually tied with them in the standings. The Suns have one more win, man, but also one more loss. Maybe people think their record looks better just because of that. I don't know, or people saw like their performance in the playoffs last year, and Phoenix was the better team last year as well. And of course, they made it deeper into the playoffs, and they have that star power on their team, but they're minus Kevin Durant tonight. But either way, the public looks like they're on Phoenix pretty heavily there, and the cash is much less so on Phoenix there. The cash discrepancy is pretty heavily on Sacramento. I'm going with it, and the other reason, besides like reading the market here, the market read initially was what made me look at this game. Then I looked at the situation, and aside from the fact that, yeah, like you might not be getting as much value as you should on the Kings because of the Kevin Durant injury, that is one issue there. I think the rest of the situation lines up pretty nicely for the Kings here. So Phoenix, we just saw both of these teams actually were they made the quarterfinals of that in-season tournament, which I hate that madness, but they both made it to the quarterfinals. And Phoenix had a much more difficult game, a tougher game, like a game where they put in a max effort all the way, and they wound up losing to the Lakers by 3 in the end of it. And they were in that game, man, after the Lakers were looking like they might run away with it early on. The Lakers had a big lead throughout the first half. Phoenix came all the way back. Durant did play in this one. I think this is a game, maybe he got injured towards the end of this one. I don't know. But Phoenix stormed all the way back, man. I think they even got into the lead at one point in the game, like late in the game. They had it close, like for the final stretch of that game. The Lakers wound up getting a ridiculous, like long 3 from Austin Reeves that pretty much sealed the game for the Lakers there. That is a really tough way to lose for Phoenix. I don't know if you might say like there's a little bit more effort involved because you got knocked out of that tournament in such fashion. There's like even more of a letdown factor. But I think even if this was a regular season game and you suffered that like letdown, if you had that huge comeback, you fell just short against the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James, that's like, it's going to be tough to quickly turn around and get back up off the mat after that. That's a tough loss for Phoenix, man, because like I said, they put in a huge effort in the second half to make that comeback. They stayed with the Lakers for the rest of the game. Looked like they might be able to win and advance, and then they fell just short. So I think Phoenix, they're kind of in the hangover spot here after that, whereas Sacramento, They have one extra day off because, yeah. Oh, and by the way, Phoenix, yeah, they have Golden State up next too. So I don't know if that might add to like a look ahead there because Golden State, even though they haven't been playing well this year, it's still Golden State and they still have Steph Curry and all those guys. I don't think he's hurt right now, is he? I don't know. He's been in and out of the lineup, but it's still the Golden State Warriors. So it is still possible that that even might set up a look ahead, even though Sacramento has a better record than Golden State right now. So it is possible that this could even be like a little bit of a sandwich there. And Phoenix has 2 days off after that tournament exit there. Sacramento has one extra day off. They have 3 days off since their tournament exit. And in that tournament, I think they were kind of in a bad spot in that tournament, which is why I went against them, actually. I was on the New Orleans Pelicans against Sacramento. Sacramento had just beaten Denver, the returning champs, man. So I think they were kind of in a letdown spot, even though it was an in-season tournament game. I still don't really know how much stock these teams put into that in-season tournament. Like you saw the Celtics exited that tournament against a lesser team in the Pacers. Sacramento was not able to beat New Orleans, even though Sacramento was the favorite in that one. So I don't know. Like the motivation is a little bit hard to gauge there. I don't think the in-season tournament adds that much motivation there. Sacramento, they lost that game badly, dude. I got to get out of here quickly, too. Shit, and I have one more play to talk. Sacramento lost that game real badly. The final score was closer than the game even was. They wound up losing by 10. I think they're in a bounce-back spot. They don't have anything to look forward to. They have 1 day off, one extra day off over what Phoenix has. Phoenix is coming off that really tough, close loss to the Lakers, even though they are without Durant, which has moved the line here. I think as long as it's like a pick-the-winner situation, I'm still doing it on Sacramento. The market read looks right to me there. They're in the bounce back spot after a pretty embarrassing loss in that tournament to the Pelicans, whereas Phoenix went all out and fell just short. I think that's going to hang them over. So I like the spot a lot better for the Kings. That's play number 1. Play number 2, real quick before I get out of here, is going to be on the Utah Jazz plus 6.5. I'm fading the LA Clippers because of what I just said, man. Oh, no, wait. What am I talking about? Oh, no. I'll talk about the 50-point game in the other side of this. But the LA Clippers, they're coming off beating the Denver Nuggets. So they're in a letdown spot. That was a huge game 2 days ago. And they beat Golden State by 1 the game before that, too, which another pretty big win there. It is Golden State. And they played Golden State actually twice in a row. So their stretch of games recently has been crazy. They played Dallas and won that one in a blowout. They lost to Denver in a pretty competitive game. Then they went on the road, beat Sacramento, which I think was a bad spot for Sacramento. They beat them by double digits. They went to Golden State and lost that game close, came back home and zigzagged Golden State and won against them. And then they beat Denver, staying at home. So a stretch of a bunch of big games in a row there for the Clippers. Now they're coming off beating the returning champ Denver Nuggets. Now they have to go for a 1-game road trip into elevation to face the Utah Jazz, and they're in this letdown spot from that game they just played 2 days ago. Are they really going to be totally focused on Utah here? I'd like it better if this was a sandwich and they had a bigger opponent than Portland next, but I still like this. I think it's a letdown spot for the Clippers. I don't see them being totally focused after that huge run of games there going into Utah. This is a spot where they might trip up. And I think they're going to be even less focused on Utah because of what Utah just did, which is the game I just talked about against the Dallas Mavericks. Utah lost by 50 points at Dallas, man. That was a single game road trip for them as well. That was also 2 days ago. That was such a horrific showing that Utah's got to be in a bounce back spot. They got to be undervalued, and it might have the effect of causing LA to not take them that seriously here because they lost so badly. When you're a team that loses, like one of the worst blowouts that any team has lost on the season, there's got to be some bounce back factor here and some value on that team after that. That was a horrific loss for Utah, losing by 50. Now they're the home underdogs here. LA is not in a good spot coming off that huge win over Denver. I think something's got to give here. I like this one. Utah's in the good spot to bounce back. And yeah, like I said, LA is in a spot. They're in a letdown spot, man. I think they're still kind of adjusting to James Harden being in the lineup and such. I don't see the percentages on this, but you got to think the Clippers are also going to be the public team. This line might even you might even catch a 7. It might actually get up to 7. LA is going to be the team that the public is going to be on. They have those stars on their team. Nobody wants anything to do with Utah with the way they've been playing. But I do. I think it's a buy very low on Utah after losing by 50 points and a buy high on LA after they beat Denver. So that's it, man. Utah Jazz +6.5 or +7 if you can get it, and Sacramento -1.5. 2 NBA plays. That's the whole breakdown today, whole card. Let's do it, man. Happy Friday, and let's start kicking off the weekend right. Hopefully, peace out.